If you're strategic about your editing style before you even get into the editing room, you are not only going to cut down and save yourself hours and hours from actually editing your video, but you're also going to make it so much easier to outsource the editing. And if you crack the code on outsourcing, then you'll be able to focus on what ultimately matters, which is the message you're here to share. So in this video, I want to cover 5 questions that are going to help you develop your editing style. The first question to ask yourself is, how do you want to hide your takes, if at all? Maybe you're filming in this style and you want to step back and forward to emphasize a point. This is called a jump cut. A lot of YouTubers love this style. It's a very YouTube-specific style of editing. It's specifically called a jump cut because it's kind of jarring and it jumps. Question 2, what graphics will you use on repeat? Now, this is the real game changer when it comes to outsourcing your video editing. Right here, you can see that I have a package that has all of the graphics that I use over and over again on my videos. So I have a set of transitions that I can use throughout the video, and I'll show you these in a second within the edits. I also have explainer statement graphics that come up on the screen, comment below, subscribe, all of those things, as well as my Instagram handle that might come across. So all you have to do is create those once, and then in every single edit, you can tell your editor, this transition comes up on screen here. Then you're gonna have this graphic come on screen here. Then you're gonna have the subscribe graphic come on, and then you'll have a transition off screen there. Now, if this is already feeling overwhelming for you, I want to stop you right there and tell you I'm all about cutting down on your overwhelm so that you can get your message out into the world. So if you would like to have pre-created graphics like these transitions that I just showed you, I do sell those as a template on my website, so I will link to that in the description below. There is also an amazing tool, or a website really, called motionarray.com, and I have created another tutorial on how to browse that website in order to find graphics that you too can use on repeat. Question 3, how do you want to highlight key talking points throughout your video? Now, you might have sections throughout your video. I often like to have different tips or steps or things like that. It's a very listicle style video that works very well on YouTube. And so each of those individual sections might have a specific way that I call out that step. Everyone can do this differently. It could be a full screen graphic that comes on the screen that you use on repeat in all of your videos. It could be a transparent color that comes on the screen with text over it. And even if you do not know how to answer this question, just knowing that this question is one to even ask yourself in the first place is going to be very helpful. Whether you are editing alone and you can continue watching YouTube videos and see how other people do it, or if you are working with an editor, because if you're working with an editor, then you can say, hey, by the way, I really want to figure out how to do this thing that she is talking about in this video, and you can even send them this video, and then they can use their creativity to really come up with your editing style. But I will say that the more direction you give, the more likely you are to like your edit, so don't be completely hands-off in the process. Now let's move from this position because it's kind of funky. Question 4, what style of B-roll, if any, do you want in your videos? What is B-roll, you might be asking? Well, let me explain. A-roll is the talking head portion of your video. That's what you're seeing right now. B-roll is the footage that you put over it that will illustrate a point. Now, for this, you can either shoot your own B-roll, which is a little bit of extra work, or you can use stock footage, or you can avoid it altogether. But when it comes to using stock footage, it is a good idea to give your editor a direction of how you like to look for stock footage. There's many different ways to go about choosing stock footage, and not all editors do it in the way that you would like it to be done. So personally, I always tell my editor, please do not use any cheesy B-roll that is illustrating a point. So if I talk about pain, I don't want to see someone that's like, ah, or if I talk about money, I don't want to see money falling from the sky, right? Here is a perfect example of one that is extremely cheesy that I would never want to use because it's just not real life. There's others that are a little bit more of a subtle approach to whatever you're talking about. So if I'm talking about neck pain, right? This looks a lot better than someone that's doing this, right? Which is way more cheesy kind of thing. Another thing that I like to kind of consider, there's a lot of B-roll clips out there that are more corporate style content that have people that are in suits, they're suited up, they're going to the office and all that, while the people that I talk to in my audience do not resonate with that. We work from home, we work from coffee shops, we're chilling in our PJs, you know, whatever, maybe not our PJs, but you get what I mean. So I'd rather have B-roll that reflects that style. So be sure to communicate to your editor what you're really looking for, and as you work with that person more and more, or as you go about the editing process, you too will discover your preferences. The last question to ask yourself is, do you want music? If so, do you want it for the entire video? Do you want it for parts of the video? What style of music do you like? Maybe you like the guitar, maybe you like piano, or maybe like me, you love electro pop music that has a drive to it. The only way you're going to discover what you like is to actually look at music. So I will link to a video in the description below that will walk you through this process, as well as my favorite copyright-free music website. Now, in terms of how much music you have throughout your video, this is something that you do want to consider depending on the kind of video that you are producing. Let me explain. You want to think about how the viewer is going to engage with that content. Personally, whenever I'm watching information type content that is just a seated talking head video, I am likely watching that kind of content on 2x speed. And if there's music underneath it, it's annoying, it's unnerving, and it's hard to watch. So personally, because of that, a lot of my videos on YouTube do not have music. If they do have music at all, I always start the video with music to kind of have a good energy at the beginning. And then once I get into the video, into the core content of the video, maybe I have a transition. And by the time that transition is off screen, the music is done and we are in the video that does not have music for the rest of the time, and people can watch it and fast forward. Another benefit of doing it this way is that your editor, or you, if you're the one editing, doesn't have to take so much time to find music that is going to work across the entire video. Videos on YouTube can be very long, and if you are focused on having to find music throughout the whole thing, that is going to take a significant amount of time that you could potentially save time and money on if you're paying someone else to do that for you. So this is something to think about. Now, once again, this definitely depends on the kind of content that you are producing. So for example, if you're doing a channel trailer video or a very fun travel vlog, you're definitely gonna wanna have music in it, and likely multiple tracks throughout the whole thing. Do you wanna hide takes? What graphics are you using on repeat? How are you highlighting key text? Are you using B-roll? Are you using music? How are you going to do that? If you like this video, please click like, drop a comment below letting me know what has come up for you in this. To learn how to create your own graphics package, watch this video here, and to start looking up music that you like, go ahead and watch this video here, or you can also buy my transition package in the description below. Either way, I'll see you in the next video.